I'm a bit late to the party on this one, but classic Loki's been released and we're going to talk about it. Let's get started. Hi everyone and welcome to 1/6 Figure Focus, and in this video we're going to take a look at the Hot Toys 1/6 scale classic Loki based on a likeness of, I believe the actor's name is Richard E. Grant. He's been around a long time, he's kind of a famous actor, and this is from the Loki Disney Plus Marvel TV show. So first thing to note about this is we're used to seeing Loki in the MCU at least, and in the Disney Plus Loki show as Tom Hiddleston. You know, he obviously first appeared, I think his first appearance was in Avengers 2012, and then of course he was in like the Thor movies and stuff like that. Or maybe I'm wrong on that. I think maybe he was in Thor first and then in Avengers 2012. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comment section down below. Yeah, I think it was Thor and then Avengers 2012, but we're used to seeing Loki as Tom Hiddleston. We're not used to seeing Loki like this unless you are a die-hard comic book fan and you've read the Loki comics, because this is called Classic Loki because it's a major throwback, nod, blatant Easter egg, because this is what classic Loki, or Loki would have been just referred to, Loki looked like in the comics. There's two things about this. Number one, I'm glad that the comic book characters that we've got in live action don't look like this, because this looks like he's wearing pajamas. But I completely get as well, and I recognize how clever it was, they used the kind of multiverse to give a major nod to the comic book fans and the origin of this particular character and what he looked like in the comic books. And I really, really like that. And I'm sure comic book fans, diehard comic book fans, have been reading this for decades, really, really appreciated that nod. It was a clever way of getting the classic look in there. Again, it's just personal preference. I prefer when they take the classic comic book looks and then they kind of run it through a reality filter where they take pieces of the classic look and then kind of mash it up and make it look like it could actually exist in the real world. Like, you know, for example, the Mark III or the DX-19 Batman suit, or another example, just I suppose the Deadpool suit from the first two movies. They were very, very close to the comic book, but they were kind of more maroon than red. So yeah, I don't particularly like, you know what's a better example actually? If you remember in Avengers, and I think for part of the Captain America, the first Avenger, or Captain America 1, the look that we first see for Captain America is very like the comic books, but he kind of looks like he's wearing pajamas. And I personally don't like that. While I recognize all of these characters have to start somewhere, and the vast majority of these characters started in someone's mind and was put onto a page by an artist. Like at this stage, like some of these particular comic books are like 70, 80 years old. It's amazing. So while I'm glad that this is recognized and this look exists and they've given this respect to the comic book and the origins of the look of this character and that Easter egg, and I'm sure comic book fans are way more happy, I prefer a more real world look where they take parts of the look of the particular character or their outfit from the comic books and then kind of run it through that, I suppose, reality filter, whatever you want, so it can actually look like it exists in the real world. Like the Endgame Cap, love that suit. But in fairness though, I think that suit has been used in the comic books as well. Anyway, side tangent, let's just take a look at this. This is now available. It is, if you're interested, it is actually on waitlist on Sideshow. If maybe you're keeping an eye on, I'm not really keeping an eye on a waitlist in Sideshow, but maybe Sideshow is your primary retailer, your go-to. It is, you can actually, waitlist isn't full yet, you can join the waitlist, but it's available now. It has started shipping from Hong Kong anyway. I'm not sure if it started shipping from Sideshow yet. Please let me know in the comment section down below. First impressions, like, this looks fantastic. I think they've absolutely nailed this head sculpt, and it's an expressive head sculpt. It's not neutral. It works for this particular character and what he looked like, and I only watched the show once, but it does remind me of what he looked like in the show. Very mischievous. Really, really like the head sculpt, and I think they've nailed the likeness of Richard E. Grant. I think So Toys did a version of this particular figure as well, and it was actually very, very strong, but I still think this one actually takes the cake here. This throne, this bizarre looking candy cane throne, not included. I really wish they'd gone and included that. I think a lot of people would be a lot happier if they did. I believe you do get this alligator Loki, Croco-Loki, whatever you want to call it, and I cannot remember the name of this thing that looks like a frog in the jar. It's like a version of Thor where he's a frog or something, bizarre stuff altogether. But yeah, look, I think they've, yeah, like I said, they've nailed the likeness of Richard E. Grant. I think the proportions are really good. You got that Kermit the Frog style collar. The colors look good. The cape seems to drape well. And yeah, you've got a bunch of different swap out sculpts. You've got kind of a neutral one. And you've got a more kind of animated one, as if he's in battle. Never been a fan of these, because these plastic green magic effects that he's holding in his hand, never been a fan of them, because they're not going to look like this here, because that's obviously Photoshop. They're going to look like probably more dead than they look here on your shelf, unfortunately. Yeah, it's funny, I don't really particularly buy into these electrical effects or, you know, magic effects and stuff like that. They kind of take me out of the realism a bit, because when you have a really, really realistic figure with a fantastic lifelike head sculpt and rolling eyes function, and you know, the sculpt is on point, the paint apps is on point, the accessories and the outfit and proportions are on point, and you've got them in a good pose, and then sometimes these plastic bits can take me out of it. Some work. I think the flame effect is really good. I've gone on about this a lot. The flame effect for the like of Incinerator Trooper or Boba Fett or Mando. Strange one. I got in Big Chief Studios Arthur and Thomas Shelby from Peaky Blinders yesterday. You can just see him there behind me. I've only unboxed Thomas Shelby. Comes with a signature of Cillian Murphy. Really, really impressive stuff. But it actually comes with a cigarette that you can put in its mouth with a smoke effect. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to use that. Popped it into the mouth. And I gotta say, every time I walk by it, it actually looks like it's smoke coming out of the cigarette. It's actually such a simple thing, but very well done. Didn't think I'd like that at all. So, in conclusion, duffel bag's nice as well. I think it's a nice inclusion there. In conclusion, head sculpt's on point, proportions on point. It's out now. It's $285. It's you can join the waitlist on Sideshow or look for an alternative reputable Hong Kong-based reseller or retailer in US-based, wherever you are. I think this is one for the die-hard comic book fans or die-hard Loki fans. I mean, it's pretty much a direct lift, but yeah, it's not really for me. I prefer when they, like I said multiple times in this video, I prefer when they look at the comic books and look at different versions of that character and that character's outfit or armor in the comic books and go, right, can we just take aspects of that, but then kind of make it look like an armor or something like real world, you know? So yeah, that's pretty much just me. That's personal preference, I suppose. Be boring world before all the same. Art subjective and all that. That's the end of the video. If you want to support the channel, by the way, if you're one of the over 2,000 subscribers, I really do appreciate the support and people tuning into the live streams and leaving a comment and all that. But look, if you want to support the channel, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, leave a comment. Let me know if you're picking this up or not, or if this is a pass for you. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. That's it. That's the end of the video. See you in the next one. Good luck.